So it was last Monday that I was talking to a good friend of mine, David Buckner, on the program about the path to destruction that the country is on right now. If you saw it, you know, he said, I'm going to pass out. I'm going to pass out. And I'm like, I know, it's really bad, nasty. And then he just passed out. It was in the middle of a live interview, and he did pass out. You know, some people have done this before, usually not on national television live. It became an international sensation. I think only Susan Boyle knocked him off. He was number one on YouTube, and he's very proud of that. No, he's not. We never got to finish what we were talking about, so he's here to finish what he started. How are you, sir?
Good to see you.
Good.
Thanks for the hand.
You're not going to pass out.
I'm good. I'm
good.
What?
Could we just bring here? I am fine. We have a chair.
I am fine.
Just in case. We have a helmet.
I'm good.
Here. You're good. Go for the helmet.
Kids, I'm fine.
All right. I'm sorry, David. I mean, it's just been. I'm
glad to know it's there.
I didn't know what to do. I was thinking, okay.
Hey, you got my hand. It was good. You got me down.
All right. So let's just go through this real quick because there's a new development on this story. What this is I want to explain to America. They think that we're just, we're pulling these things out and everything's going to be okay, but we're not. We're infecting the system. Correct?
That's so. Okay. Yep. So far, so
okay.
Good.
So you all right?
I'm good.
Good. Okay. So we started with stocks.
Right.
And back around August, we said, we can't. They're not stable. We can't buy stocks.
People ran.
Got it.
They ran.
So the stocks came and they crashed.
Yep.
All right. Now we got to corporate bonds.
More secure.
This is something where people, if you really want to be safe, you go to corporate bonds. What is this?
It's a loan to the company that will be paid back at a specific interest rate.
Okay.
Safer than stocks.
Okay. So corporate bonds, nobody wants to invest in those anymore. And now some of them are going bad, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So you can't do that anymore. And that one's gone. Now we get down to this. Right. I asked my broker, 2 years ago when I said, okay, I really want to be safe. He said, Glenn, we're going to put you in Connecticut state bonds. That's the safest. I said, okay. 6 months ago, I said, I don't trust bonds. I don't think these are good. Moody's, the ratings service, they now say these are at risk.
Negative outlook. Across the country, never been done before.
Right.
All municipalities are at risk of not paying back.
This means that if you're building a school or whatever,
right.
These bonds, your city, Moody's says all across the country have a chance of collapsing.
They say they are not there is a likelihood that they may default on the bond or not pay you back.
Okay.
Never been done before.
All right. So now that goes and that flips out. And so now all you have left are the treasuries.
People are running here.
This is the safest thing you can have.
This is the safest thing other than maybe gold.
Gold. Okay. After this, now you're into crazy territory. Bury your food and get your gold.
Now you're in a different world.
Got it. But what people don't understand is all of this toxic stuff up here is down into here.
See, what they don't get is the fact that companies have been absorbed by the government.
Right.
So it's part of the treasuries now.
Okay.
And those bonds that the companies were selling have been absorbed by the government, and they're part of the treasuries. So what you're buying when you're buying treasuries is all of the toxic waste that was absorbed into the treasury.
If this defaults,
we're cooked.
Yeah, there's nothing left.
That's a bad thing.
That's a bad thing. Okay.
That's a bad thing.
Now, let's talk. Let me move the chair. You need the helmet?
I'm fine.
Good.
We made it.
America, we made it. Okay, David, come on over. Because now I want to talk to you about. Now there's a new plan by my good friend Barney Frank. Barney Frank says this is going to be fantastic because these corporate bonds, these city bonds, these municipal bonds.
Munis. Yep.
He says we need to insure them. He says two things. One, that Moody's should be taken out because they're not
rating them favorably enough.
Okay. This, if I'm not mistaken, is exactly what everyone said the problem was with our loans. That they were assessed by the same corporation, by Moody's. They were assessed too generously.
And Mr. Frank said that was not appropriate, that they are risk-free.
Okay.
And in saying they were risk-free, he set a precedent for saying things that are risk-free aren't necessarily risk-free.
Correct. So now he says, let's take Moody's out because they're not doing that. And then he says, let's have the FDIC insure these bonds. What does that mean?
What he's saying is that we ought to have an FDIC-like backstop. In other words, if the bonds fail, If the cities can't pay back, then the government will come in and backstop it or support it.
This is California saying, oh, you know what, we lived it up. We've been living on the high life the whole time, and they fail. And that means that me in Connecticut or, Marge in Kansas now has to pay for California's high life.
Essentially what he's saying is that backstop could force taxpayers to pay for, whether it's the high life or a simple failure, okay, Vallejo, California, and others that we've cited some examples, we're going to have to backstop that. It's acting as an insurance company, and it's using U.S. tax dollars as the insurance backstop, as the protection.
David, when does this end?
The funny thing about that is it takes out the market because the insurers have already priced it by using their underwriters to say, here is what the risk really is, and here's what it costs for that risk. He's saying, I don't believe it. So what I want to do is I want to change the risk, and then I'm going to insure it myself. It will nationalize an insurance company. It will create a nationalized insurance company. It will push out the insurance companies that are in the market because they can't compete.
If we do this, how's it end?
U.S. government will have to, and that's us, taxpayers, are going to have to cover any losses any cities incur.
Did this when I asked you that, you did this. When my daughter does that, that's usually a bad sign. I have a 2-year-old.
This would be a bad thing, because not only do they go in and change the pricing and move out all insurers, so there's nobody to come back in a free market.
Does that get us many steps closer to that bankruptcy of that Treasury at the very bottom?
Well, to be completely fair, the value of the Treasury is only so much as the global market will embrace. In other words, it's only what people will value.
And that's it.
And if that's viewed as zero, it's like the markets the last 6 months. That's a problem.
And we're close to that already.
We're moving in that direction.
Okay. David, thank you very much. And my friend, I am so glad that you are.
I am so grateful to you and your team. You have no idea.
That's great.
You're awesome.